Men of Reddit, what's a harsh reality you've had to accept as a man? People make time for the things they care about. It was hard to come to terms with being the person that wasn't cared for. When you hit that age where you realize you are past your peak, physically, mentally, energy, etc., no one is coming to save you. Ultimately, you're on your own. Outside of a partner, it's very hard to find emotional and mental health support. There's always somebody stronger and smarter and cooler. Being an old man is not like being a young man. That all the things I didn't do because I was depressed were the things that would make me less depressed. I'm 37 and I like very little about my life. When I was 26, I lost 40 pounds in 5 months just walking and eating less, and I didn't dislike it. But I got depressed and stopped. When I was 27, I started studying for actuary science exams and actually kind of enjoyed it. But then I got depressed, started playing more video games, and stopped studying. 8 actuary exams is a $200,000 a year job, in the very least. So much of my unhappiness comes down to me just getting sad and bored and depressed and not doing the things that would lead to me being happier. And I'm not even going to start on the relationship side of things. That's the biggest letdown of all. Not something male-specific, but it's taken me a while to realize that I shouldn't force myself to fit into certain groups. My interests float between so many groups that I shouldn't give up some of my interests to be more like certain people. I'm gonna lose my hair. Shitballs. Your value is about what you can do for others, not who you are. That my abuse I suffered at the hands of my girlfriend will never be taken seriously. Stereotypical masculinity is still lauded and admired, despite all the hoopla saying otherwise. Mental health sensibilities as informed by evidence-based medicine change several years before society does. As much as people applaud healthy masculinity when men open up about their feelings, ask for help, and put themselves out there in therapy, a staggering amount of people will still abandon men who show emotional availability and vulnerability to fend for themselves the nest. Men who share their struggles are still often viewed as weak and fragile, including by people who virtue signal about how egalitarian and supportive they're pretending to be. Mental health awareness and suicide prevention is much more about walking the walk than talking the talk. That feeling of safety when you hug your dad when you're small goes away, and you'll never get another hug like that again. That my emotions do not matter as much as everyone else in the family. People say men should be more emotionally open, when in reality, they want men to be more emotionally mature. But people trip along the way to maturity, and society is not always so kind to them. You only got yourself to fall back on. Don't wait and proceed with what you have to do moving forward. Nobody is coming to save you. My brain is just as badass as it was in my 30s, but my body is not. No matter how you shake and dance, that final drop goes down your pants. No one gives a SH1T if you're ugly, poor, and lonely. You have to figure out things for yourself. As a middle-aged dad, I've come to realize I will never ever get to go kite surfing. I don't have the luxury of fear. Someone has to keep their shit together in a crisis. Being a stay-at-home father is often met with confusion, and many women feel the need to give me parenting advice as though I haven't been doing it for 7 years. I will never join a Roman legion. Realizing that not every relationship will last is a tough pill to swallow. As we grow, so do our needs and desires. It's okay to let go of what no longer serves you. It opens the door to better opportunities. That your extrinsic worth, quality of life, and that of your family still, even after a lot of diversification and advances in role liberation, largely comes down to your ability to provide. And that no one is ever going to take care of you in that way, rare. Not impossible, but rare. No matter how badly you need it to be so for your own temporary mental health. In many cases, mine for sure, it's going to be on your shoulders, and if things are suboptimal, then you are to blame and will suffer as your family suffers. That no one cares. At some point, you don't need any more advice, clever quotes, or sayings. You just need discipline, consistency, and silence. There's a reason dogs are called man's best friend. It's because they're what seem like the only creatures who truly love you unconditionally. True loneliness is being a man and realizing that all love outside of the family you grew up in is conditional. You must always bear the weight of the world to bring value, or people just don't care. It's not even something that is angering. It just makes you sad because nothing will change that. People wonder why we become workaholics, and it's not always competitiveness. I would argue that many simply find comfort in doing what they feel like is the right thing, and that working will keep the world from turning its back. It's an exhausting and unrelenting feeling to be up at night, thinking you need to do better even after a great day. Knowing that everyone wants you to be the king on top of the horse, but if even for a second you get down to their level, they will gladly shove you further into the mud. That a lot of women are just as picky as they claim men to be, but won't admit it. A lot of dating apps are specifically designed to frustrate men into forking over money. Mental health issues will be my own problem, and no one wants to hear me vent. Men are encouraged nowadays to express their emotions, as long as it's at a convenient time. Love is completely conditional. The loneliness. On top of being a man and working in a female-dominated industry, my PTSD has given me trust issues. Doesn't help that I also am more feminine in personality, so I hardly get along with other normal men. And just fucked, aren't I? Coming out as gay will never be easy, and something we will fear for eternity, I feel. I have to pay to have someone give a shit about my troubles who won't weaponize them down the line. Sometimes you have to face the world's expectations without always getting support in return. Every moment I'm not in 0G, my ballsack gets saggier.